Hello. How you doing? This is 1100 WSGI. I'm Mutant LaVern, and this is, yes, this is One Street Over, a chance for you to know what's going on one street over from where you live. And Mayor Billy Vogle is in the house, one of my favorite people. I love you, brother. I tell you, I love just hanging out with you and talking about all the things and getting to vent a little bit. He got to hear me vent.
Well, it's a busy time. It's a busy time, and let me tell you, there's a lot of farmers venting right now.
God bless them.
I mean, the hay crops are getting down, but the sun will shine.
Yes.
But we need about 4 days of sunshine.
Yeah, I know.
It would solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, I know.
But them trying to do graduations, dodging raindrops. I mean,
I was at Greenbrier's last night. Yeah. We had Greenbrier's graduation. The video is going to be beautiful because the stormy skies, for a photographer, I love to take pictures with a storm behind the pictures. It's just stunning. And Jim Bellis came up to me last night. He's like, man, I've got some great graduation pictures, but this is crazy because we had the storms just rolling in. And we got it done, but it was insanity. And there was so much. I don't need to start.
Well, it's.
I'm just like, Anyway, this is 1100 WSGI. Yeah. Did I say that? Anyway, I am so tired.
It's a busy time, going to all the graduations. I didn't make them all. And of course, I had county commission last night. Reason I wasn't. I wasn't in Greenbrier.
Yeah.
But I'm shocked to hear that y'all was outside because I know when I went in county commission, it was raining then. And when I came out, it was raining.
I could show you my text between me and Bill Jones. He goes, do it now. He goes, you've got a little window. He says, but you better hurry.
And my phone tells me in 10 minutes it's going to be raining in Adams.
Yeah.
And we're looking for rain pretty well all night tonight.
Well, and the thing is, Bill and I were texting back and forth, and I was like, I got Rob Co-Weather on the phone, y'all. And he was saying, he was watching it for us, and we had just sent the kids out on the field. He goes, I think you've got a little window here. And I'm like, well, we're in the middle of it. He says, well, go for it. And Sabi Kumar was there, and he had a proclamation. They just presented that he didn't talk. We had the valedictorian, the salutatorian, the class president said, and they, bless them, they were real short remarks. We didn't have any music. We had just the alma mater, got through the names, got off the field, but it opened up as they threw their hats up and everybody just ran off the field. And then they came in, and this is there's got to be a better way to do this. This is my first senior class they're so precious to me, and I love them dearly. And probably one of the kids I am the closest to. Their diplomas were sticking together, and we didn't realize it. And his got handed to somebody else. And so this poor kid, I'm so proud of him. Yes, I'm proud of you, Christian. I mean, my goodness, he's such a great young man. His diploma wasn't there. He got stuck to somebody else's. And it just broke my heart because you could just see it just broke his heart. It's like, what? It just made me sick. And it's just, and it'll all get straightened out today, but you can't get that moment back.
Yeah.
You can't get that moment
back. But he's got a memory. That's pretty cool memory.
But no, I don't know about him not having his diploma on graduation night. That kind of stuff.
I don't know if I even opened mine up to see if my name was on it.
Oh, you're funny.
I mean, I was happy. Yeah. I was happy that night.
And I mean, we got through it, but it was not the way I wanted to have my last moments with these kids who have been a part of my life for 3 years. Anyway, we got through it.
Phoenix Academies last Wednesday night.
How would that go? That's their first one. Was that their first one?
No, but they had an adult class.
Okay.
There's 39 graduates, and inside the Springfield Middle School auditorium. And you talking about loud in there. The parents and everybody was so jubilant to see these kids, and it was pretty cool. Well,
and that's the thing. It's like the dilemma of the graduations and where you're going to have it if you don't have it on the field, because if we had not had ours on the football field, our auditorium can't hold everybody. Because by the time you put the graduates just in the seats, and then if you have just 1 or 2 parents per graduate, I mean, you're at capacity. And so what do you do? And so I understand the desire to have it on the football field, but last night was crazy. I'm not sure we shouldn't have postponed it till, then you hate to do that, postponed it until like 8 o'clock, and said, okay, this is what we're looking at. The storms are coming in. I know you don't want to, but to be able to have this and do it in the way, and everybody would have grumbled, but at least we wouldn't have been out there dodging, storms.
Well, if it started lightning, you're going to have to hit the inside.
It was supposed to have been at 6.
Yeah.
And they put everybody in, they said, everybody take cover. We're going to wait until 7. And that's why I like, so you should see the text between me and Bill Jones. Thank you, Bill. And I mean, not that nobody even asked me, but I wasn't a part of that decision. But we all took cover in the buildings around the football field, and the kids went off in the auditorium. And it was just not the way I wanted to have my last moments with my first set of seniors who are like kids. I mean, they're like my own.
I tell folks,
love them to pieces.
But you can't fight Mother Nature.
Nope, you can't.
She's going to win that battle.
But yeah, and honestly, God bless you, Dr. Osborne, and all of our admin. You can't make you can't make people happy. It's just like they had it at 6, so they had some wiggle room if postpone it if they need to. They always have it at 6 for that reason. Probably, in hindsight, should have pushed it off to 8, and then everybody had really been upset with them. But then we wouldn't have had rain coming down on us. And this graduating class, Mayor Vogle, and we'll get to the county commission meeting, they came into high school from COVID.
Yeah.
They came back to school after being off a year of COVID. That was their freshman year, right? Then their prom, we had tornadoes all around us at prom. And then they graduated in the middle of a storm. So, man, there's some expectations of this class because those devils been trying to trip them up ever since they set foot on campus.
Hey,
God bless you, class of 2025 Greenbrier High School.
It's preparing them for life. Preparing them for life.
Yeah, and that's something. When we realized the diploma was missing, and I don't know who said it to Christian. Well, it's like, welcome to adulthood. This is the kind of stuff that happens. And I thought, I didn't really want to hear that because I know how hard that young man worked. And you can't get that moment back. And it just broke my heart. But anyway, we'll fix it, Christian. Anyway, love you, young man. Yeah.
At least they all got graduated.
Love all of y'all.
And as far as I know this morning, they partied maybe and everybody's safe.
I told them all, behave yourself as they walked out the door last night. I went to my class. If you're in the D's, check your diploma and see if Christian's diploma is stuck to yours. Just do that. I was calling some of my kids last night. Call your classmates. Tell them to look at their diplomas and see if Christian's is stuck to it. And I was going to go get it and take it to him. I'm sorry. I had to vent.
We usually, a lot of times, I've been to graduations, they did not put the diploma inside the case.
That's what they didn't either. Yeah. So that we gave them
the case,
and then they came to the concession windows, and then they came to their homeroom teacher, and we had a file. Yeah. And I won't tell you what else they had us doing, but they had us. Anyway. They had us collecting overdue lunch money last night, right before we gave them their diplomas, and I'm like, "Are you what?" I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to say this stuff, and I'm just like, oh, it was just a hot mess.
Well, yeah. Hey, knock on wood, the county commission wasn't that bad last night.
It was crazy town.
But we had a lot of people out. We had a lot of people out because of
storms,
the graduations and stuff. We didn't have but 15 county commissioners. We was missing.
Oh.
Gosh, we was missing 9. And most of it was the 2 commissioners from Greenbrier, of course, had to go to graduation.
They were there because I know Mr. White was there.
Yeah, and
I saw him walk in.
But still, it takes 13 to make a decision.
Yeah.
So, and hey, I started with my communications. Bubba Doris won the proclamation for Ms. Elizabeth Clark. She is from Barren Plains, and she won the buck dancing championship in Tennessee. So he recognized her. She's a little bitty thing.
I'm going to tell you something. We had the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival this past
she was
Saturday.
there.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. And I'm telling you, guys, watching these kids buck dance and clog, oh my goodness. And Miss Sue was there, 80 years old, that stomps. And you know Miss Sue? And
yes, I do.
And she clogs. She tells me sometimes she'll do that for 2 hours. That's why she's so spry at 80. And Cheryl Chun, I told her, I said, I'm 62, but I want to learn to clog. She says, come on. I got new knees. I can do it.
Yeah.
Get me in shape. But I love it. I've always loved clog and buck dancing. I remember seeing Jed Clampett buck dance on the Beverly Hillbillies, and I thought, I just loved that. I just loved the Beverly Hillbillies. The silliness. Yes.
Scruggs, yeah.
And anyway, but I've always thought that was just so much fun. And I'm Cheryl's going to teach me. she says she can teach anybody, so we'll see. And but anyway, I'm sorry. When you mentioned we just had so much fun at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. It was perfect weather, even though we had some storms.
We did have a pretty Saturday.
But it was just gorgeous, just a wonderful time. But yeah, that's cool that you're doing that for that young lady.
Yeah, and I just want to say, Sunday morning, all the days are running good. I had the honor of going to Beers Chapel Church out there off of Woodard Road. It was their 160th anniversary.
Okay.
That church was started
cool.
during the Civil War.
Yeah.
It's the oldest black church in Robeson County.
That's awesome. I would have loved to have gone.
Well, a slave was there. A slave had bought the land, 8 acres, for $88.
Wow.
And donated to the trustees to have church.
Wow.
And
that's a cool legacy,
let me tell
man. That's
you
so
talking
cool.
about the presence of the Lord in the house.
That is so
Sergeant
cool.
Yates got up and started preaching, and he does a great job. And it was a good time. I
love it.
Me and Mayor Poole was both there. So then we had a proclamation for the EMS dispatchers recognized as first responders. This is EMS week this week. And the first responders, you don't think about them, but when an emergency happens and you call dispatch, the 911 workers is the first person that takes off.
You better believe it.
And they're talking to people that may be thinking about suicide or whatever, and they're trying to talk them off a ledge. And these jobs are very, very stressful. So we recognized them last night. Faith Doublefield done that proclamation.
I love it.
She's on the 911 board.
Yeah. She was with us this weekend.
And then the EMS director got up and recognized 4 new employees that's hired at the EMS. And one of them was a little girl that had been riding on the ambulance, some just shadowing. And she wanted to be an EMS worker.
Oh, wow.
So, but all of them was from Robeson County. And we're just glad to welcome them into our workforce. And, of course, I congratulated all the high school graduates and the teachers, the principals, the school board members. It takes a village to pull this off and make this happen over 12 years.
Yeah.
So, we've got a lot invested in these seniors.
Yes.
A lot invested.
And I'm going to tell you something. They're good. We got a good bunch of kids coming out. I mean, I got to know a bunch of them, for the last 3 years very well, and we got a good bunch of kids coming along, guys. I'm telling you. Yeah. We really do.
On a sad note,
proud of y'all.
As I was going to graduations, the spirit of Steve Haley was overlooking those graduations.
Oh, man.
He was chairman of the education committee.
God bless him.
Yeah,
we lost him quick.
Yes.
I didn't even realize he was sick. And next thing, I had just heard that he was sick. And then 2 weeks later, he was gone. I was like, what in the world?
He asked everybody over and over to keep praying for him. And
I just didn't realize what was going on.
He was, I don't know how to put it. He was very, 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 I think, ready.
Yeah.
He knew what was going on, and his family was. By the time we all heard, it was all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bless.
But he's going to be missed on the county commission.
Yeah.
He'd been there since 2006, I think.
He'd been there a long time.
And I served with him for a long time, and didn't know our ties was as close to Guthrie and Adams as it was. His granddad lived on the same road with my wife.
Yeah.
So I didn't know all that.
Yeah, bless the family. I know that it's just been a tough time for them.
So we will be electing in June a new District 11 county commissioner. If anyone wants to serve, if you will, drop a letter off at my office, because we'll have to elect one and fill those committee seats.
Can I nominate somebody?
Well, what you do if you want to be on there,
you might kill me if I said it on the radio.
You need a county commissioner to kind of bring you up off the floor. Your nomination, yeah. But I've already had 2.
Oh, I'll tell you right now. Have y'all thought about Bill Jones? Bill Jones.
He's already sent me a letter.
You think so? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And hey, and then I want to also say Roger Blackwood.
Oh, Bill.
Roger Blackwood passed away Saturday.
Yeah,
I served with Roger on the county commission, and we had, you talking about when I first got on in 98, had Roger Blackwood, Carl Swan, and Mike Crawford, and Calvin Porter, and I could go on and on, Walter Bedwell. But anyway, you talking about fun. These guys were fun to be with. And it was arguing back and forth. But after the meeting, we'd all be in a circle laughing and cutting up. But Roger, after he served on the county commission, he was with the industrial board. He helped us build the airport, the new terminal. He kind of oversaw that, and he oversaw the chamber office and everything as we done that. So Roger was still very active even after he got off the county commission. Mm-hmm. So he will be missed. His funeral will be Friday. So that was all of my as far as my communication. And we went into reports, of course, and I just want, as I go over reports, I just want to tell everybody, I want you to keep up with solid waste. Solid waste, we paid out $350,899 to send this trash out of the county last month. That is a lot of money.
You better believe
Multiply that by 12. We received over 8,024 tons in the month of April. Mm-hmm. So that tells me how much we're growing. We are growing.
Big time
growing. Mm-hmm. We get this report with the committee, and Steve Haley was on that committee too.
Yeah.
Of course, we see how much trash we get from Springfield, White House, and all our convenience centers. And then we had the private haulers, see what they haul in. And we also keep up what comes in out of county, because the people out of county are going to be charged more. If they're going to drive in Ross County and bring their trash, then we're going to charge them a little more. And that's what keeps free trash going for everybody else. So,
like you said, and you've said this many times, is that it pays for, it's not going to cost, it's one of those things you want it to be self-sustaining.
Right.
And so you want to make sure there's enough money coming in to pay those fees. And that's what it does.
That's what it does.
And so, and as long as you can do that, but you got to make sure that happens.
We are one of the few counties that still deals with free trash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you go to the scale, you're going to pay. But everybody else, they go to convenience centers and
you can just drop it.
We take trash from cities free. So, hey, it's worked out real good. And I don't know how long it's going to last, because we're all looking at Nashville. Nashville's fixing to be kicked out of the Rutherford County landfill here real quick.
Yeah, you've been telling me about that. Do you have any idea?
Well, I talked to some TDEC people, and I've talked to some engineers. They looked at moving it on rail. Well, that's not going to work out because CSX is so busy now and trying to get rail time for all that trash coming out of Nashville.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Well, then they're talking about putting it on barges.
I knew that was coming. There's so
all you're going to do is kick it down the river, and somebody's got to unload them barges.
Yeah.
Right now, the answer to them is they will be trucking it up to Nortonville, Kentucky. And we're talking about a lot of trucks to keep that trash moved. A lot of trucks.
On the roads.
Nobody wants a landfill.
On the roads that are already overpopulated and not big enough to handle what Nashville's doing. That's one thing. I got to Nashville in 1983. Started doing traffic in 1984. And oh my goodness, for those of you who've grown up here, I know you get it too, but to have been doing traffic and watching that interstate, that downtown loop, as we call it, because every major interstate, that's what people don't really think about. Map it and look at it, how you got 65, 24, and 40 all converging right there in our downtown. And man, oh man, if something goes wrong, I'll never forget, we had, it was, they call it fanfare. It's what they called it when they first started the country music festival. I don't know what they call it now, but we called it fanfare. I mean, all these people would come to town and they'd have all these, and they still do it, and they call it something else, but it's a big music festival. And when they first started doing that, they had done some kind of a concrete repair down at 40 and like 2nd Avenue, right in there, where again, it's just part of the downtown loop. And so it was on the loop, and the concrete, because of the temperature, whatever they put in the road didn't set up. So we had a major closure on the downtown loop in the middle of fanfare. It was just astronomical, the delays we had. Can you imagine if something like that happened now?
Yes, I can. I mean, I talked to Troy Atkins.
Yeah.
I try to keep up. They're doing some paving on Kenny's Road. They're paving 5.5 miles at a price for about $600,000. This is state-assisted road. And I asked him today, was they through with it? And he said the weather is really hurting them. The people that make the asphalt, if it's threatening rain, they're not going to make it. I mean, you're not going to make a bunch of asphalt and then have to dump it out on the ground.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be dry. So I'm hoping that project, I think when I talked to him last week, they was at least halfway done with that. But after we pave a road, it becomes a speedway, folks. When you need to realize that a new road doesn't mean you can drive fast. And when those construction workers are out there on the interstate, be careful because their lives are at risk. TDOT loses some every year. That's people get the rubbernecking, I guess.
Incredible, and they're on their phones, and we've got to stay off our phones, guys. We've got to put those phones down.
Well, in Springfield, my son's a firefighter, and he's all the time talking about going to rollover wrecks. And I said, why is there so many in Robinson County? He said, Daddy, everybody's on the phone. He said, everybody's on the phone. So anyway, hey, in the reports, we went through all them. That was the one point I just want to tell everybody about trash. It's something we keep a watch on. And the EMS report, the budget committee is meeting right now about the budget. And we are going to have to purchase another ambulance. We've done already, the last 4 years we've bought 2. But White House is growing so much. We've got 3 parked in Springfield. Mm-hmm. But one of them is fixing to have to leave and go to White House and stay up there. We can't keep bringing it back and forth. As soon as it gets back, it has to go back. And, we're talking about response times. And a lot of those people in White House will get on 65 in the ambulance and go straight to Vanderbilt. And when we send an ambulance to Vanderbilt, you're talking 4 or 5 hours sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the cost, people don't have any idea what those things cost.
Oh, they're $750,000.
I was talking to somebody else in another city, and they were talking about having to buy one. I guess maybe it was in Greenbrier, or not in Greenbrier. I don't know where it was, but somebody was talking about the cost of the emergency vehicles. I'm like, I know, Mayor Vogle and I talk about it all the time, and it's just it's breathtaking. I had no idea they were that expensive.
Well, we're talking about an ambulance, over $200,000.
Yeah, they
tell me a new pumper for fire department's about $800,000 now. Ain't that's unreal?
Wow.
And that's just it's mind-boggling.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
And usually you're going to have to wait 2 years.
I know who I was talking to. I was talking to the vice mayor at Cross Plains.
Cross Plains.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is his name?
I don't know. They just had a turnover up there.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's a nickname. I'd have to tell you. Dookie.
Okay, Dookie Eden, yeah.
Dookie Eden. That's it. It's a nickname, or it's Dookie.
Dookie Eden, yeah.
He is the vice mayor, and we were talking about the cost of the.
People, until they get involved in public service, you just have no idea what it costs.
Yeah, and that's
to run this stuff.
Yeah. And he's a farmer, and we got to talking about the cost of everything, and we were talking about, different places that need this, and he was talking about that. I'm like, oh, yes, have those conversations all the time with Mayor Vogle.
I mean, school buses, just everything costs so much, and then it costs a lot to keep them going.
Yeah.
One thing you don't want is being an ambulance going to Vanderbilt and it break down on the interstate.
Isn't that the truth? Oof.
Who wants that? And it happens. It does. It happens.
So,
and we'll have some of them be involved in accidents. Because people do not pay attention to sirens or anything.
No, they don't. Got the earbuds in their ear. Cut it out.
Okay, we got down to public comments from public on. If you want to speak about anything on the agenda, we have a piece of paper right up front, and all you got to do is we'll give you time to speak, and then we shut it down. And before we go into zoning, I'll invite the public to be a part of our zoning. Mm-hmm. So there's. If people would come to the meetings and just watch and listen, you can really learn a lot. Mm-hmm. You learn a lot more you can listen to me on radio, probably.
Oh, no, we have fun, Mayor. Yeah. I have a lot of people say, I like it when you and Mayor get on there and y'all talk, because, we're just talking. We just visit, but we tell you about things, too. But we're kind of entertaining, I think.
Well, my wife gets on to me a lot about the way I pronounce words and stuff. Reminds me
it's part of your
of that
charm.
Movie about Dizzy Dean when he was broadcasting baseball.
Yeah.
Had one appointment election last night. Norma Dutton is on the library board, and she wanted to serve another term. And those people, let me tell you, these boards that are out there, if you want to serve, if you'll turn your name in to me or like we got the library board, the airport board, zoning,
yeah,
and some of these boards are tough now. I'm going to give you a heads up. They're tough. Your phone's going to ring. You may not want to hear it. Think about being on the school board. Their phone rings all the time. Yeah.
Well, it's just like all the drama about the graduation and where we're going to have it. You can't make anybody happy.
No.
I mean, no matter what you do, you cannot make them happy. So you just try to do the best you can. I just like, God bless you. I wouldn't want to have to make the decision. I'll tell you that right now.
I've never had many phone calls about test score. Nobody, sit comments about test scores. But you let their football or baseball get wet, and my phone will ring off the wall. Yeah, we're crazy about sports. Facilities.
God bless us.
And those facilities, the baseball field, they put a new one at Coopertown. Mm-hmm. I think it was like $1.2 or $3 million for a baseball field.
Wow.
Yeah, this stuff is, and you got to be ADA and everything.
Yeah.
It has to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's not the days when I was a kid, when our parents would go build a grandstands for us to sit in. Them days is over.
No, I know it. Yeah, they don't let us do that anymore.
It's got to be engineered and everything.
Well, I mean, I even will sometimes be like, well, we can just do this and this and this. And everybody's like, no, you can't.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that.
And I'm like, well, fine.
Yeah. The athletic clubs have got a purpose, but their days being in construction are over.
Yeah.
Okay, we went into our public hearing. Do you need to make an address or pay a bill?
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
We're good. It's just 7:30. We got all kinds of time.
Okay, well, in our public hearing, we didn't have but 3 resolutions for all of them was agriculture land going to a housing lots, but they were R40 and the one was R80. And the R40 and ag, they passed, but there was Reyes Construction had one in District 3 that did not pass, and it was because of the width of the roads which they was going to come out on.
Okay.
We're seeing a lot of that when developing does a farm and they build multiple housing. The county roads aren't fixed for that. So right now we are in the process, and a lot of people ain't going to be happy, but we can't. I mean, we got one road up there at White House, 2 school buses can't even pass.
That's one thing, when Mark was working with the safety coordinator, he was the safety coordinator for a while with school buses. And that was a concern for his. He goes, some of these routes we drive, he says, and they were talking about cars parking on the side of the road.
Right.
And he says, we'd have areas where they park on the side of the road, and there's areas where the road is not, it would force the bus to have to go into oncoming traffic to get around stuff. He says, there's so many situations like that. They're not thinking about what they're putting the buses through because of the width of the road.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's just not safe.
It's not safe, and we're having a lot of complaints.
And it's a hard question. And that's what we were actually talking to Dookie about. You remember my husband talking to you about who owns this road?
Yep. Well, right now.
That was the question.
Right now, Cross Plains.
Who is responsible for this
Plains
road?
They own it.
Yeah.
They own it. They don't think they do, because I've had to talk to them.
That's the conversation.
The new mayor agrees with me now, because our county attorney has done all the work. Mm-hmm. But right now, Cross Plains still owns that section of road.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's what got us all started on things that cost and all of that. And he was like, I said, here we go with the road again. Because he talked to everybody about that road.
I know that developer's probably not happy, but we have done a lot of work. The county attorney has been traveling, talking to other counties that's got more growth than us, and we're going to have to start putting in turning lanes.
Yeah.
We're going to require the developers to do turning lanes if they got a certain number of houses going in there to come off a narrow county road. And also we're asking them to put up a bond so many feet down a county road, when them concrete trucks go in and out, they're damaging the road. And then we're stuck with the bill.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of counties is already doing it. It's not like we're asking for the moon. It's just something that's going to be done. If these people are going to live in these subdivisions, they got to have a safe way to get in and out of it. And that's just common sense. We have really stopped doing multiple housing until we get the county commission to vote on the regulations for these subdivisions.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the one in Springfield's coming in, the new one. Mm-hmm. They're coming out on one county road. And I told them we was concerned about how many houses they're talking about. But this is going to be a 20-year build-out, 3,000 houses. Mm-hmm. And the road is going to come out on cannot handle anywhere near that. But they'll have multiple exits. One fact's coming out on 49 here. But by the time they get to our county road, our regulations will be in place. Mm-hmm. It's just the way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got wide equipment, farming equipment, you're not trying to go through a 12-foot gate.
No.
You got it wide enough where you can get in and out.
Yeah.
It's the same way with the school buses and concrete trucks. And so we're doing that. And this one did not pass last night, but don't mean when we got our regulations that they can't come back and it will pass. Mm-hmm. Because it's a catch-22. A lot of people's getting offered a lot of money for their farmland.
Mm-hmm. I know it.
And the people that's already here do not want the traffic. They don't want the...
Well, it's like, well, I moved out here for the serenity and all that. Well, you came in and people have farmland and they decide they want... it is, like you said, it's just, you can't make everybody happy.
When you're 30 minutes from Nashville, you just might as well get ready for it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
we're so close.
It's like a piece of cheese. It can only take so much.
There's just only so many bites in that piece of cheese, right?
That District 3 zoning resolution did not pass, and there was a lot of discussion about it, and I'm sure I haven't heard the end of that yet. Yeah, I'm sure.
I bet.
Yeah. Okay, we can get into our resolutions, but I tell you what.
We can go ahead and do our break here. This would probably be a good place to pause here for a second. Mayor Vogle's keeping an eye on my clock for me. I appreciate it. And the only one we really need to talk about, we may touch on the Bernards too. She sent me a note yesterday. They really just advertise on Monday, but I love talking about Julie and Steve because they're just so fun. But they're doing different flavored brats. They're doing pork this week. And they're making a variety of brat flavors for Memorial Day. So those things will sell out so fast, y'all. If you want those, you better get over there. But anyway, we talked about that yesterday. I need to talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards right now. Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. Y'all know my friends in the real estate community. They are just great friends of mine. I got to hang out with them the other day at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. We had so much fun there. It was just a great time. And I mean, what I really loved, I was talking to Rebecca, and I was up, doing the introducing the bands and things, and I'd talk about the different vendors and the different sponsors there. And I asked her, I said, okay, what do you want me to say about y'all? And she said, come by the tent and I can do a free market analysis for you, no strings attached. And I was like, well, that's really cool. Because that way, if you have no intentions of selling, at least you'll know kind of for sure what you have in equity if you want to use that. So it was a really cool thing. And I never even thought about that you can talk to, Barry and Rebecca anytime and just give them your address. They'll run a free market analysis for you, no strings attached, just so you know that you know. And you know what you got going and you understand your most valuable investment. I mean, for a lot of us, that's where all of our money is really. And it's just good to know those actual numbers when it comes to the market value. Should you decide you want to sell, or should you get older and you decide, okay, I need to just downsize, because Rebecca's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. And so she specializes in specifically that, helping you when you decide, I just think I want to downsize. My kids aren't, moving back. What do I want to do? She's been specifically trained to help you with that. So if you want to connect with them, you can call them. Here's Rebecca's number, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. And you can talk with her. She is an agent, has an office in White House. Barry has his brokerage office here in Springfield. They put those two together about 2 years ago and brought you a new branch in the Exit tree, Exit Prime Realty. Exit was the group that she went with whenever she decided to go full-time into real estate, and she checked very clearly what has everything I need to support me as I build my business. And Exit was that, and it's still that all these years later. They mentor a lot of people. It's so funny, I was talking to Barry, I guess it's when we were talking about the festival last Thursday, and I said, I know a lot of people come to you about being a realtor, and he goes, and sometimes I talk them out of it, because they present he goes, if you can do it, it's great, but it's not for everybody. So if you're that person you've been thinking about it, go talk to some people that are going to be they're not going to just say, oh yeah, come on. He's going to be super honest with you, really real with you, and just lay it all out and say, okay, is this what you want to do? And then they're going to help you every single step of the way if that's what you decide to do. And same thing, if you're wanting to buy or sell, whatever it is, come to them and talk to them. Ask you crazy questions. They love crazy questions, and they're just wonderful folks to work with. Barry and Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty. You can, again, call them, or you can go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy, B-U-Y, robertsoncounty.com, or you can just Google them, y'all. That's a very easy way to get in touch with them. And when you do, please let them know that U-Turn sent you. All right, Mayor. We're back at it.
Can you imagine trying to run a racetrack right now?
Oh, no. Jerry, God bless you. Jerry, I mean.
He's one of the sponsors, the reason I brought it up.
Well, and he's not sponsoring right now, but that we don't care. We'll still talk about him. Yeah. He let my seniors go out there and run that track.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jerry. That was so kind. But yeah, I mean, every time you turn around, they're having to postpone and all that kind of stuff. We'll be racing until December and out there trying to make up races the way the rain's been going. Yeah, it's been tough. It's been tough.
And all you parents out there that's chasing these little kids that's playing ball in the rainouts. I mean, I ran a league for a couple of years. The rain and just had one field and had rainouts and. Oh, man, I think I aged 20 years that one season.
Well, I'll tell you, my grandson, and he is a good baseball player. Now he's playing travel ball.
Oh, everybody's in travel ball.
I love watching him, but we're an hour from them. And so I told him, I told my grandson, I said, honey, I said, Mama and Papa cannot get to every game. Now, we've never been able to get to every game, but I told him this summer, I said, you know, we'll be there a couple of Saturdays, but we cannot be there all summer. Well, we just can't be there.
You just do what you can. I mean, sometimes I think with school nights and their practicing and everything, it's nuts. It's a lot on these kids and the parents because I got a meeting this afternoon that I can't go, but the way this called, it's going to be raining anyway. Yeah,
that's the thing. Their game got rained out last night in Mount Juliet, and it's supposed to happen tonight, and so I don't think it'll happen. I think it's going to get rained out. But what else you got for us? We're going to get off topic. I know.
We need to talk about our kids a little bit. Yes. We're going to get into resolutions because we're not spending a lot of money right now, but still there's things that's coming up. The courthouse is one of them. We're finishing up on the inside, and there was a leak in Judge Goodwin's office that we could not find.
Yeah.
We finally found it this week. We had a crane parked out there. It wasn't a very big one, but they was up there, and it was inside the wall in one corner, and there was a vent down through there that somebody had hit with a saw years ago or lately. No, it had to be years ago that was causing that one leak, and we finally found it. So it's that old building. It just, if it could talk, man, I wished it'd explain to me why we keep spending so much money on it. That's what you got to do because it's very important in this county. Everybody talks about the center of the county and the courthouse.
Yeah,
a lot happens around it.
Yes, it does. Our first
resolution last night was EMA is getting a much needed new truck. I'm going to tell you, EMA stays down Adams on that river all the time. They got to pull a trailer down there. That truck had about 300,000 miles on it. He had asked last 2 years for a truck, but because of budget restraints and not wanting to raise taxes, we kept putting it off. Mm-hmm. Well, about 3 months ago, EMS had an ambulance ordered, and then a county called Brent Dyer said, hey, we cannot afford this ambulance right now. And so they called him. Well, the ambulance was a lot cheaper than the one we had ordered, waiting for in 2 years. When they price an ambulance, it's 2 years out. Sometimes they put a condition on it that, hey, if it goes up, whatever, but we try to set the price in. Mm-hmm. Well, they let us have that ambulance at this big, big discount. We took what was left and bought EMA a pickup truck. So we really hit a good lick there. But we had to spend $12,000 last night getting the truck ready to put on the road. We're talking lights, striping it, the radios and everything. This stuff is very expensive to do this. And it was a $12,000 resolution that was brought for the county commission. Of course, it passed. The second resolution that was brought by Bobby Couts, we are looking at an HVAC system at Innovation Academy. Now, we're doing work up there, but some of these systems, these schools are 20 years old, and they're playing out. I know we just got through talking to Dr. Weeks about Coopertown Elementary. We're going to have to put in new HVAC in the old part of that school. And this is a $300,000 project that the school has got the money, and they're transferring it in their project fund. But, folks, it's like last month we had to put some new units inside the old office building that was 23 years old. We got some on the jail that's going on. That jail's now got to be close to 25 years old. I remember I was part of the county. We built that jail for $35 million. that wouldn't touch it now.
No.
You wouldn't touch it. A lot of people didn't like the location, but where would you put it? I mean, it's right there beside the office. It's part of the office building that we got the hospital from when the hospital moved.
See, I don't think I realized that. So that was an addition to the original hospital?
Right. This jail came in like pods that they stacked on top of each other.
See, that's back when my kids were little and I wasn't paying attention. You know what I mean? Because my kids were all
In
young.
fact, we could put another pod on top of it, to my understanding.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't
my
realize
understanding,
that.
yeah.
Because I always, again, I'm a transplant. I got here in 92, and I had to go to that hospital one time with my kids before we had the new hospital. And just one time I went in there. So I've only been in there once. But then when it became the city office or the county office building and the jail and all of that, I don't know. I just thought it was all part of the same complex, and I didn't realize that it had been an addition.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, if you know where Archives is,
Yeah.
that used to be the jail.
Okay.
That little building there.
Really?
And hey, if you want to
See,
go,
I didn't realize that
if
either.
you go back to the beginning of time, the jail was upstairs in the old courthouse.
Oh, how funny.
It was upstairs.
Really?
Yeah. And then not as far as Sheriff Denzel Alley was in the courthouse, I think, but then they moved when Ted Embry became sheriff. It was at the old archives, at the archives building right now.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember
Isn't that something?
they had a fence up the top, and that's where the prisoners would go up and stand out in the sun.
Really?
Yeah, one of those barbed wire fences up there.
I don't remember that. So when I first got here, I had young kids. I had four boys, 4.5 and under, y'all. Let's just leave it at that.
Well,
and so my world was busy until they got into their, it stayed busy until they left the house. Are you kidding me? Still busy. But anyway, so I just was so into raising my kids, I just didn't notice those kinds of things.
we had to, we was having lawsuits because of overcrowding.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, and I remember Tommy Baggett. He was on the law enforcement committee. Everybody knows Tommy. Mm-hmm. He's gone now. Tommy was a silver bullet, let me tell you. And we went to Reno's to eat dinner, and he looked at me and said, "I need you support on something." I said, "What is it?" He said, "We're talking about a new jail." And I said, "How much?" He said, $35 million. I think I lost my crackers right there because that was a lot of money. It's a lot of money now, but $1 million won't go nowhere anymore.
Yeah.
But we built that jail, and we've made some money with it, housing state prisoners. But we only do that if we got the space.
Yeah. And people don't realize what the implications are when you have a jail in your county or not, because we lost ours in Mayfield when the tornado came through. And that's been a big controversy back up in Mayfield, is about whether or not the jail is going to be rebuilt, because it was part of the courthouse complex that just got wiped out. And a dear friend of ours actually works as part of that, and so we get the inside on that. But yeah, that's been a big controversy on if they're going to rebuild it and how much they need it. So that's interesting, though. Very interesting. Yeah.
Like when you're talking about the jail, it takes a lot of money to run a jail.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Just the prisoners that get sick, which way over about $1.5 million a year to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
And most of them that go in there, they're not in good health anyway.
Yeah. A lot of them are going in with addiction issues.
Addiction.
Yeah.
We're getting women, a lot of women now.
Yeah.
And especially for juvenile, has to be sensible. You can't put them with the general population. Mm-mm. And that is very expensive when you're dealing with juveniles.
Yes.
So it's just, once you get in this public service, you see where all this money's going. It's like trying to kill Johnson grass when I was a kid. They didn't have no spray. You're constantly chopping out. Yep.
You and I had the same childhood, I think.
Yeah.
We used to chop weeds out of soybeans. Daddy'd give us a machete. I'm not kidding. And we'd have to walk down through the fields and we would cut weeds out of the soybeans, because that would hurt your price if you had, cockaburls in your soybeans.
It hurt your yield,
yeah.
But anyway, $300,000 for some new air conditioners and heat inside of the old academy, which would be, the old middle school up there. And we're working on, of course, West Side. We're putting another wing on it, to the tune about, the county give the education last year in the budget $15 million, and then the education department kicked in another $5 million to do some of this. And next year we're probably looking at a school.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I've been hearing a lot about that.
Yeah,
from a lot of different people.
This resolution here that would come out last night, Resolution 5040, deals with the opioid settlement funds. I've got a check in from at the mayor's discretion to spend as I saw it needed to be fit. And luckily, as we went through the deal with the roof on the courthouse and shuffled people around, we had to take some offices away from some people to put in a little courtroom for juvenile. Well, we're taking that courtroom back out because these people's got to come back to work. They're working from home. We're looking at 3 offices. So I'm giving my part of what I got can move to drug court for $40,000 to put 3 new offices inside the office building. Because, it's just that we got to get these people back to work. We got everybody moved back to the old courthouse. That's done. The circuit court clerk and chancery's back. They're having court upstairs. The building looks beautiful. Inside, other than the judge's offices, we're still working on them. But we had to get them back. We're running on time, though, but we moved $40,000 of what I said that they needed to fix those offices. And this opioid money, the main part that I give Judge Perry and drug court is supposed to still be coming in for the next 16 or 17 years, pending. Now, what I get are very small checks, and I'm hearing a lot of these folks that got in this settlement are filing bankruptcy to get out of it. So we don't know how long these checks will come in, but right now they've been put to good use with rehab facilities. Yeah. And, a rehab, some of them have to be sent out of county. You got to get them away from their base, out of county, but some of them, they're still trying to hold their jobs, can go at night, and they're able to raise their families and be with their family while they're trying to get over the last couple steps of this.
We have a facility here now.
Right.
We can take and do work with rehab, and it's just amazing. And we have a recovery court board meeting today, as a matter of fact.
The 2 young ladies that's over there is doing a fantastic job.
Aren't they wonderful?
Yes, they are.
You, Megan, and
I mean, I don't give out a lot of praise, but I'm gonna tell you,
they're pretty awesome. And there's a whole team with them, but those are your 2 leaders right there, and they're just amazing.
And they're very conscientious about how these dollars are spent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then I had another $3,400 that out of the 40. And this was the end of my money for right now. And I gave $1,500 something to CASA. If any people don't know what that is, that's court appointed special advocates. Mm-hmm. If mom and dad gets in trouble at night and the law goes in the house and the kids are in there, somebody's got to take those kids. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe mom and dad might be incarcerated or being booked or maybe just whatever. The state is slow about taking control of these kids when it's in the middle of the night. CASA comes in. They've got a house here in town.
Now, that's all. Yeah. The CASA is the person that will be with the kid, and they'll get a social worker, right? That could change. Their CASA will never change and will be with them at court and all those kinds of things. The house is the Isaiah house, Isaiah 117. So they're different entities, but they all work together. So CASA is the one that circles with the kid, and they're going to stay with that kid from the moment they enter the system. And so that's not going to change. But the Isaiah house is a separate thing. Yep. And then then they all have social workers, but those change because that's a difficult job.
If you get a chance, you need to donate to the Isaiah house. If it wasn't for that house, these kids would probably go to a state. We hear about kids on couches at some of these state offices until they can be placed. Yeah. And we're so blessed to have that Isaiah house.
Yes, we are. We need another one. We need a couple.
Yes, we do.
Every city needs 2 or 3 of them things for these kids because, unfortunately, that's how many kids are being displaced because of difficulties in their families right now. And it's a problem. I think we're doing better, though, because I think we've recognized it. Are you seeing a decrease in the amount of death certificates you're having to sign for overdoses? Because I know that you said that was the thing that shocked you.
That's a good question.
But I got better.
I got a bill the other day. It was $20,000 for 1 month, but the coroner that does these autopsies has quit putting down the calls, and I'm not happy with that. No, I need to know the calls, and I'm got a call into them that hey, when you bill me, you tell me what we're doing and what we're paying for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I would like to know, because there's been so many efforts to help, get beyond this. And I just want to see how we're doing. I would like to know.
$20,000 a month. It's $2,500 per autopsy. So, and then I give the Robertson County Health Council Prevention Coalition, I gave them the same amounts I did CASA because of they are doing educational deals. Mm-hmm. I've been to some of their meetings. There's a group of, I'm talking about from United Way all the way down to the library people, to the sheriff's department, juvenile court, drug court, all sit down and figure out where they need to go to teach people about this opioid problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
very good.
We was able to give them some money.
Okay. Keep going, because we've only got about
all right. Well, I'm winding down.
Okay, good. If we don't get finished, my husband fusses at me. Y'all need to quit talking about anything and everything and get to the meeting.
Well, I don't have one more thing. We had some surplus equipment last night coming from the schools, and I think without me even looking, a lot of it was computers. It goes to these seniors, and trust me, by the time they go through them, they're wore out. Some of them's wore out.
Some of them have taken care of them.
Yeah, but I mean, how I was a kid, carrying school books home and everything. Yeah. But tablets, printers, monitors, projectors, all this stuff is being replaced, and it goes into salvage. And there is companies that will bid on that stuff.
Yeah.
But hey, wrapping it up, that's pretty well it. We didn't have no old business, no new business. But I will tell you, we're working on the budget. It's the budget's going to be tight this year, very tight.
Yeah.
And, you could do a 3% rate, 3% every year just for raises in insurance. Knock on wood. I won't say that we're not having a raise in our health insurance this year, because that clinic that we all go in, and the schools went in, Springfield employees and the county employees go to, anytime they don't pull out that insurance card, it's a savings to the county.
Oh, yeah.
And the taxpayers. We saved over $200,000 last year.
Oh, wow.
Because of the clinic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
You need to do a commercial?
No, I'm done. I mean, we can talk. We've got new sponsors. What I was talking about with Bernard Farms, Custom Cuts and Market, and we talk about them on Monday, and then usually on Wednesday or Thursday we talk about the UPS store, which is not just for your Amazon packages. So we can kind of tag those in and just remind you of our sponsors right now. And we're looking for some new sponsors. I have been so busy with school, I haven't gone out and knocked on enough doors. So I got to bring some more sponsors in here. But we do appreciate UPS store and Bernard Farms, and of course Mary and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. But
trust me, folks, people do listen, because if I make a mistake, I hear it. So I know people's out there listening.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron's probably on.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And
yes. Hi, Aaron.
We had something pretty cool last week. Walmart had their grand reopening and the ribbon cut.
Yes. Have you been in there? Oh, yes. It's nice. I need to call him. I've been meaning to call him about doing some advertising on here.
Hey, you talking about they put on the dog for a few ounce country saying, and it looks good in there.
It does.
And they gave away some money to some students and stuff.
Awesome.
Walmart gives back to the county.
Yes, they do.
A whole lot in fundraisers. If I remember one time the sheriff needed some water for Special Olympics, and Walmart just donated it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but not counting the sales tax dollars that the cities get from Walmart. If you've got a county that does not have a Walmart, all that sales tax that generated in the state of Tennessee, they divide it out to even help the counties that are very rural that don't have a Walmart. So we're so blessed to have one here in Springfield, and that's the county, what we get, it goes toward education. Mm-hmm. What sales tax we get. So when you're spending your dollars, try to stay in Robeson County.
Yeah. Because
it does count up. The mayor of Nashville, he figures on everybody spending, he says 60% of sales tax in Davidson County is spent from people out of the county.
Well, and because so many people commute. Because
right.
I know when I was, working and my church is in Davidson County, and so we do spend a lot of time in Davidson County. But we're very mindful of that, and we do a lot of Amazon shopping. I'll just tell you, but those tax dollars come back here.
They sure do,
and I'm thankful for that, because before that happened, I remember just thinking about how that if it's because you want to shop local. But sometimes you just don't have time and you can't find things. I try to find things local, but sometimes I can't find it. And I can find, there's 2 or 3 things I can't find in the store anymore that I use. And I'm like, I can just get them on Amazon. So, but those those tax dollars come back here.
They do come back.
They come back here. So that's good. That's good.
And hey, tourism, we get, that is so important in this county because we get money back out of these motel tax that goes toward, like the industrial board gets 50% of it, and then they give out 30 to the cities that motels in, and then 20% of it goes toward tourism in Robeson County to keep these people coming back.
Yep. And we're building all kinds of the things like we're doing with the Kilgore Festival, Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. I can see that becoming a big competition that we have on that Friday night. It's getting bigger every year, and that brings people in. It was so funny at the clogging competition, all the Sumner County folks that came in, and I guarantee you they spent some money here in Robeson County.
They sure did.
You better believe it.
We was talking about ball. These kids is going to these tournaments on Saturdays.
Bring them.
Hey, their parents, grandparents follow them. They all come into Robeson County and they're spending money.
You better believe it. So keep it going, guys. We just got to do it in a real good, manageable fashion. And tell me again one more time before we go. We're going to have a special election for our county commissioner.
Right.
And are we going to have to go to the polls? Or
No.
You're going to appoint somebody.
We will appoint somebody.
That's kind of what I figured.
We will appoint somebody.
Okay.
It'll be in June. This will be.
It's my district, and you know who I want.
Yeah, this has been about, I might be my 3rd time that this has happened to us. I remember we lost Mike Ellis.
Yeah.
Don Eden. Oh, man, Don Eden. We lost Don Eden. He was big with the industrial board and he cared about the library. Man, I'm going to tell you, losing these people young people, please step up. We got to have you.
Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Mayor, for joining us tomorrow. I think I got Danny actually coming on. I have to look at my calendar, but they've got.
That ought to be a hoot.
Oh, I love Danny. We have so much fun. Evening at Elmwood's coming up. And so we need to talk about that. And I think that's what we're doing tomorrow with him. And then, of course, we'll have Ryan Martin coming on at 7:30. And Ryan, I want to know who the big act's going to be for the Freedom Fest. Have they announced it yet? Have you heard?
Oh, they ain't announced it yet.
Oh, maybe he'll announce it on
sure
our show. Because
they
know. They know. They got to know by now. You got to have that book. So
maybe it's going to be Buzzy.
Buzzy Pool. There you go. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. This is 1100 WSGI. Thank you, Mayor. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.